Howdy everyone, how are we all on this fine Saturday morning? Well, it's Saturday here in Australia, and I have an idea. When I say that, my husband gets very worried, but in this case it's a good idea. So, I have decided, due to family reasons and crap, pretty much, I didn't get anywhere near killing my August Kitaholics kit. I still have so much left. I did my design team layouts and that was all I got done with this kit. The month got away from me. We had so much drama happen and it didn't get used. So I still have all, just about, of my September Kitaholic kit. And there's so much here still. So I thought, over on a Facebook page I'm in, Hey Nay Daily Creatives, she is posting a photo a day. So I thought I might use this to document my photo a day for the month of September in my Traveler's Notebook. Now, I've recently started a Traveler's Notebook. I'd show you, but I've decided I'm going to make my own for September. So I'm going to actually make one and use it to document my photo a day for the month of September using my Kitaholics kit from last month. So I thought I'd give it a go. Today is the 3rd of September, so I've got 3 layouts to do. And I thought I might video my process if they're, not too quick and anything. So, yeah. So, stay tuned, watch this space, and, yeah, we'll see how we go. I hope you are interested and find this new mini-series, we'll say, something worth watching. So, we'll see how we go. It is only the 3rd, so we do still have 27 days, so we will see how we managed to follow through with this. But that is what I thought of this morning. That is what I would like to do because I don't want to see another kit go to waste. I would like to use this up and I thought it was the perfect way to do it. So stay tuned and I'll see you soon. Bye. So we're going to jump straight into this. Now I have sped it up a fair bit because this isn't obviously the best way to make a Traveler's Notebook. It barely works for me as it is. Well, it does work for me, but I'm sure there would have been a much better way to do it, for sure. So I've sped it up. Don't follow in my footsteps and try and copy the way I've done this. It's probably the worst way to make a Traveler's Notebook, but ever just have something in your head that you just want to quickly get made so you can start using it? That's what happened in my case. So my measurements are terrible. I fold it wrong. I cut it weird and I staple it back to front. But in the end, it's all mine. I did make it myself and it's working really well. The watercolor paper is really good. So yeah, so I've sped this up so you can't see how tragically bad I do this. But I wanted to show you that, yeah, I made my own Traveler's Notebook out of watercolor paper. I used a colouring book page as my front page because I was planning on colouring it, which I probably will later on. But yeah, my watercolour pad was pretty big, so I've had to cut it down pretty small. But I did go and buy myself a smaller one specifically for Traveller Notebook purposes. But this is what I had at the time and this is what I decided to do. So as you can see, I'm having to trim down my paper, and are you one of those people like me that every time you trim it down, it's still crooked or it still doesn't match up, so you got to trim it down even more, and then the same thing happens, and you got to trim it down even more, and then you end up with something that's just way too small? I'm one of those people, but yeah, the pages should have been made bigger, and yeah, so it's not a typical size. It's just off by a few centimetres, on the edges, but like I said, it's mine, it goes in my notebook, and it's doing me just fine for the purpose of this photo a day, really. So next time I'll know, obviously, to make it in a different way, make it a little more, I don't know, what's the word? Yeah, I don't know.
but I'll know where my mistakes were the first time round with the heavier watercolour paper, so I'll be able to take that into account. So all I'm doing now is just putting it together, and I'm trying to I'm trying to score it because it is pretty fat, I guess you could say, which doesn't bother me either. I end up getting some bulldog clips to hold it together to try and squash it down, and as you can see, I just stapled it back to front. But I do go back and staple the other side too. It's not the best way to bind a notebook, but it's working for me. Like I said, quick and dirty. I just wanted to get this done so I could start using it. And I wanted to show that you can make your own traveler's notebook, even if it is tragically done. Probably the best way to bind one of these is to sew it with a bit of thread. And next time I will probably do that when I'm not in such a hurry to get it made. This video is going to continue on into my first spread because, like I said, I really wanted to start documenting this photo a day. So I had to make the book and then I just dove straight in and started using it. I'm just reinforcing some of those staples with a bit of washi tape, and yeah, then I'm ready to start using it. So before I dive into my first photo, I'm going to make my cover look all pretty. So I'm just going to go through some of the supplies from my August kit that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And yeah, I'm using my August kit and also some things that I bought from the Kitaholics online store as well. That's where I got those stickers from. And right now I'm just going through the ephemera from the Love Always collection. The August kit had a lot of the Love Always collection in, and a lot of those watercolor, peach and, you know, yellows and oranges. It was an absolutely beautiful collection. I just didn't get a chance to use much of it. We had a lot of family problems happen last month, so I didn't get to explore this kit fully. So that's what I'm hoping I get to do by doing this little series here. I'll get to use up some of this kit. So I do keep my cover very simple. I just use some of these pretty flowers. I don't get to use flowers much around here. I'm surrounded by boys, 2 boys, nephews, husband, dog. It's just me and my sisters. We're outnumbered. And so yeah, I don't do a lot of florals and things. So that's why when I do things like this or title cards on my Project Life, I like to use girly things because they don't get used much on layouts. So yeah, all I'm doing is I'm just going to write September, or I write SEPT because September's not going to fit. And then I use my fantastic little wooden square alphabet stamps from Typo. I think I've used them on every layout I've done since I bought them. They're amazing, well worth the money. And I just stamp photo a day on a piece of cardstock. If you watch closely, you'll notice it takes me 3 goes to get it right. Yes, it takes me 3 goes to spell the word photo. Wait and see. So I liked the idea of using one of the adult colouring pages as my cover, so I could, colour it in if I felt like it. But also that way it wasn't, because it is a watercolour paper journal, it doesn't set a theme or a colour for the journal. Like, it's not a colourful, bright pattern paper. I love my watercolours and I love the watercolour techniques and patterns and things. That's why I like this collection as well. And yeah, so you'll just see I'm putting down my pretty flowers and getting ready to attempt my stamping. Here we go. These stamps are fantastic. They're small little individual alphabet stamps. They are really, really easy to use and really, really cool. I love them. But I wasn't very focused on this day. I had my children screaming in the background and I knew they were up to no good, but I wanted to get this done. In the end, after the second attempt, I stop, walk away, deal with the ferals, and then I come back and I managed to spell photo just right. The first time, I did one of the O's around the wrong way. Second time, I inked up too much and got the edges of the stamp. I was just frustrated, had enough. Yeah, so the third time's a charm, got it right. And I spell out photo a day. And then I just cut that and add it to the front of the journal. So this is where I come back and third time's a charm. I finally get it right. So I've kept the cover very simple and I have tried to keep it as mostly flat. I will attempt to stick with that throughout the entire notebook to try and keep it as flat as possible and not too bulky. In saying that, I've already put a few chipboard stickers and things in there, so we'll see how fat it gets in the end. But yeah, so just nice and simple to start with, and in a minute you will see I jump straight into my first photo, which for the Hey Nay Daily Creatives photo a day challenge for September is selfie. So yes, that's my lovely selfie on the left there. So that is the photo I'm going to start with for my first spread. And here we go. How lucky are you? This is like a 3-in-1 video, like a face-to-face, then a tutorial, a horrible tutorial, please don't follow in my footsteps, on making a notebook and then decorating the cover and then a layout all in one. How awesome is that? So this is why I used watercolor paper. I'm a very mixed media person. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll notice that. So I got my watercolors out, funny that, and I'm just using a water brush. I'm painting some watercolor onto a piece of packaging and I'm just laying it down on the page. So I'm using watercolors and the packaging technique in one. How awesome is that? And I'm just using the lovely yellow and orange, nice brights, goes with the photo and also with the front cover as well. So you'll notice I dive under my craft mat. Under my craft mat I keep offcuts of mostly white cardstock. One, because I tend to cut strips and journal that way on a lot of my layouts, but also because when I have big offcuts like this, it's a good way to mat little things, little photos like this. So yeah, I do have a big stash of just white cardstock under my craft mat. So that's what I do whenever you see me dive under my mat. And yes, I was just on the phone. My craft room is at the back of our house, well outside I should say, not at the back, I'm not that lazy. It's outside and my husband tends to stay inside obviously on the PlayStation or something. So he can't hear me if I call him, so I physically call him on the phone. Now I think you may have seen a little flash of an iPad there. My boys were having serious iPad dramas on this day. I've had to cut out a fair bit of, "Mummy, fix the iPad, Mummy, the iPad's not working." Turns out it was the internet, so yeah, I had to reset that. Now, these are the printables from the August kit. These are really, really cool. Deb does a fantastic job making these, and they coordinate with the kit really well. And on there was a little, that thing there, like a little banner, and it says currently. And I thought that was fitting for considering it's a selfie for the first day of the challenge. So in the kit there was this flourish border thingy, that thing, and it was it was actually a really good size for this photo, and I thought it was a good way to start off the notebook and the journal, whatever you want to call it. So I do frame my photo with this, but you will notice I put it on backwards. The way I put it on is different to the way I sussed it out when I first put it down, but you know, it is what it is, it doesn't bother me. So I glue it down and then I add that little banner that says currently. Then I get out my favorite stamps again and just stamp the word selfie. Simple really, nothing too extravagant, all nice and flat. And yeah, first photo documented. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you didn't mind my massively random comments and my terrible putting together of the book, but in the end we got there, didn't we? First layout in my notebook, done. So I hope you're looking forward to watching the rest of the series and stay tuned for more. Bye.